We can do that. See this little funny intro on Sega Genesis games. There you go. Yeah, check it out. The background's gonna be totally different here on normal mode. That was different too. That was red right there. I'm pretty sure it's blue when you change the difficulty. Check it out. You see, that changed as well. That's cool. Yeah, that's really sweet. It actually changed the other thing too. Yeah, exactly. The kanji was red. It was red on normal difficulty, and it was blue on expert. I hadn't noticed that before. Okay. That was a smoke session there. Ooh. That was a good one there. I'm gonna turn the volume down so you didn't hear me coughing there for that one. Okay. Right, let's continue along here. Again, that last run was pretty rough around the edges. And we still made it to the final level, so... Thankfully, a lot of this game is static, so you can... Once you memorize it, it's just... a matter of execution, really. Let's get these assassins to come out here, then we'll get this guy with the pistol. This guy with the pistol. So we're gonna jump just on the far left side of the box here. There you go. Okay, we'll try to get this guy to show up here. Here he comes. There you go, okay. Sure, so we do one last blast there. The view of Streets of Rage 4 is the most well-balanced modern beat-em-up. That's saying something. That's one Streets of Rage game I've never played. Never played 4. You know, of course, I love 1. We went through the highest difficulty, 1cc. With Blaze last year. I absolutely loved that challenge. That was a bit of a doozy, dude. That was like 7 sittings or something. If I remember right. That was decent. That was no easy task. Ooh, they got us there. It's okay. That guy actually got us last run too. And then, you know, we've beaten Streets of Rage 2 once you see with Blaze, just on normal mode. At some point, I do want to go through Mania mode on that game. Probably this year, we'll see. But we might need to actually, for the first time, that might be a challenge where we need to change characters. Might need to try to learn max just so we can have all that damage, so we can max our damage. Pun intended. Because, like, I've seen guys like Bradio, who, you know, he's, I think, third in place for Mania mode for the world record. And yeah, dude, he'll just be carrying on just like a casual conversation, just absolutely annihilating that game with Max on Mania mode. It's so impressive, dude. Like, top tier Streets of Rage player. I mean, really top tier beat 'em up players in general. Like, I'll see Vance Velez just casually, you know, deathless, Turtles in Time with all 4 characters in one stream. I'm just like, dude, what the heck is going on here? How do you deathless a beat 'em up, dude? Like, that's just next level insane as far as skill goes, as far as I'm concerned. I haven't been able to Deathless to beat him up. We've done some death. I mean, only not like a. Unless it was like a side scroller beat him up, because we got, you know, we got that X-Men game on Genesis Deathless. That's a beat 'em up, but it's just like a side scroller beat 'em up, you know. It doesn't have like the isometric sort of or up and down kind of mechanics, you know what I mean? It's not like, you know, Streets of Rage or Golden Axe or Turtles in Time or whatever, you know. Yeah, speaking of beat 'em up, so at some point in time I also want to go through the Punisher on the highest difficulty. We beat in the game on normal mode. Yeah, it was shortly after somebody donated a flash card. It was before I had the EverDrive. And somebody donated a flash card with the Punisher on it, and that's what they asked for. They're like, I want to see you play through the Punisher. Tough game, dude. That was just on normal mode. And the messed up thing is that it gives you a really messed up ending, dude, if you beat that game on normal mode. Frank Castle straight up shoots you and tells you to play on hard mode. You don't even get any credits or anything, dude. It's hilarious. One of the most hilarious endings I've ever seen to a Genesis game. Yeah, I have noticed that actually, Rugal. Yeah, the ending sequence is different depending on the level of difficulty it should be on. That's pretty sweet, right? Like I said, you know, I don't really know. It's a really tough question as far as my favorite Shinobi game, because once we take this challenge down, we'll have basically done the same challenge on all three of the Shinobi games. We play on the highest difficulty, no continues, and this one non-Shuriken mode, and then on Revenge of Shinobi and Shinobi 3 we did no starting Shuriken. Which isn't really that bad, as long as you don't take a death. When you take a death, especially around a boss, dude, it's kind of a problem because you lose all your Shuriken. And especially when you go and fight Zed again. In Shinobi 3, for example. If you start off with 0 starting Shuriken, you take a death, then you're gonna fight them with 0 Shuriken from there on out. So you only have your knife, dude. It's really tough. So that's where no starting Shuriken really comes into play with difficulty. And Shinobi 3, like we talked about earlier, on expert mode, you don't get any... Oh, that guy got us there. He followed us. You don't get any health upgrades, dude. And Age of Mythology wasn't out this week, but you were getting the Marvel collection to play the Punisher. Now, is that going to be the arcade one or the Genesis one, or both? That's your problem with beating Revenge of Shinobi. Now, it's still a good game regardless. It's definitely one of the best early Genesis games. So I think that one came out the year that the Genesis came out. I think it was 89. So it probably would have been 88 in Japan. And it's kind of amazing when you see Shinobi 3, because Shinobi 3 is basically like a direct sequel to Revenge of Shinobi. You know, as far as like gameplay and bosses and stuff like that. You know, they straight up have a sequel to Godzilla. Like you fight Mecha Godzilla. And you know, this game is kind of, you know, sort of stands out as its own thing because of the one-hit mechanics and the dog and some of the other unique mechanics that it has, but... Careful there. Yeah, that's why it's so tough, because like each game is kind of special in its own way. That's why it's tough for me to sort of actually, like, if someone's like, hey, like you can only choose one Shinobi game, what's it gonna be? I think it's the Punisher, it's the arcade. That's probably the better one, obviously. The interesting thing though is that on the Punisher game, the last boss is different. It's almost a direct port of the arcade game, besides the last boss. Like the final boss is a bit different from the console one to the arcade one. I don't know why that is. I don't know if maybe there was some like glitching. You know, maybe there was something wrong with the code or something when they tried, and so they had to change it. I don't know, actually. It's really interesting. But yeah, that was like the first thing that Jax said that when we were playing through that game. He's like, wait a minute. Wow, this boss is different. I was like, yeah, right? Isn't that weird? Why did they do that? It's a weird choice. Shinobi 3 is your favorite. Shinobi 3 definitely has the best soundtrack. That's one thing I'm gonna say. And as far as like level design stuff, it's obviously the best. And obviously like gameplay and stuff, you know, it's the later release, so it's better as well. Like all around, it's kind of the total package. It's probably the better game. Just looking out from just a, like if we're just going to be critical about like directly on the game, you know, and not look at it as a series. If we're just going to look at each individual game. What's up, Duke Torgo? How you doing? You love the dog? More games should have dogs. Yeah, I hope you're having a great night. It's interesting to have a level, like in Revenge of Shinobi. Oh, it's interesting that they have a level like in Revenge of Shinobi. Which one? Oh, careful, careful. Which one? The maze or? Yeah, this is the only Shinobi game without a maze. Between at least those three. And Shinobi 3, dude, like, I think Shinobi 3 is really interesting in the sense where... Oh, gosh. Shinobi 3, the first couple levels are pretty casual. Like, even somebody that isn't really interested in playing the whole game, there's enough there in the first, you know, even 3 levels to, you know, keep a player interested, you know, that maybe they want to play the game for 15 and 20 minutes and then move on. You know, maybe that's just the type of gamer they are. You know, it's much better for, ooh gosh, for a pick up and play. Shinobi 3 does get really crazy at the end, though. Revenge of Shinobi, on the other hand, I felt like Revenge of Shinobi was more difficult at the start. Like, if you don't know Shinobi games or whatever, you don't know the game, and you're like brand new to it, it seemed like that one was a little bit more difficult at first. Ooh, careful. Uh-oh. And you want to duck down. Duck down, move from side to side there. Nice. There you go. Fence, you move from side to side. Oh, like the airport stage. Oh. Oh, you mean here? Yeah, actually, you're right. I see what you mean now. Okay. Having no health in the beginning. Hey, like I said, though, at least on Revenge of Shinobi, on the highest difficulty, you still get the health upgrades. That's not the case for Shinobi 3. When you play on Expert, it keeps you at starting health the whole game. So, at least there is that with Revenge of Shinobi. It's forgiving in that sense in the highest difficulty. But yeah, I just feel like I feel like Revenge of Shinobi is a little bit more difficult right out the gate than Shinobi 3 is. Like I said, the first Shinobi 3 isn't really that difficult until like later in the 3rd level. That's really like I think when you start experiencing difficulty. But yeah, then later on, like I said, you know, you have the maze and you have the flying fortress, which are kind of problems in themselves, because you have that part where, you know, you have to just do the climbing part, and then after that you have the fortress that's full of electricity, which especially on expert mode when you have the lowest amount of health is pretty tough. But yeah, that part is just really tough in general, even on just normal difficulty. And I didn't even mention the part where, you know, you have to do like the vertical climbing. We had to jump up the falling rocks, the falling boulders. That part in Shinobi 3, that's really where that game starts picking up in difficulty. Yeah, it's interesting that both Shinobi 3 and Revenge of Shinobi have mazes. Oh gosh, that was close. Watch out. Some of our teeth on that one. Yeah, sorry, Rat. I didn't know at first what you were talking about there, but yeah, totally. Yeah, Revenge of Shinobi has the air base where you're jumping over the fence right there. Yeah, that's probably where that game really starts picking up in difficulty, because you really have to, especially in the highest difficulty mode, you really have to kind of figure out what's the best way to pretty much get around some of those enemies, because it's really easy to evade enemies because of that tactic. Terrible at the end of Revenge, but having no health. Having no health at the beginning is tough, yeah. I think the toughest part of Revenge of Shinobi is the jump on 7-2. Or 7-2, sorry, 7-1, excuse me. Yeah, well, it's a little bit different in Goten's situation because he wasn't using a controller. So yeah, that probably was a nightmare. He was doing that on a keyboard, so that should be said. That's like a challenge in itself. There should be an asterisk next to that. Yeah, that's gotta be way tougher. Because the way the Genesis controller works is just completely different. Essentially, with the Genesis controller, you have diagonal. You would have to add diagonal keys to your keyboard in order for it to even be close to the same thing. Ooh, gosh, yeah, that's where we use our magic there. Because yeah, you essentially the Genesis controller D-pad is 8 directional, so yeah, and it's a little bit more noticeable in the 3 buttons than it is the 6 buttons. The 6 buttons are a little bit better for the most part as far as their quality goes. So especially, I've noticed, especially in the D-pad, the quality is much higher in the 6 button controllers. But yeah, especially in the 3 button controllers, it seems like the drift happens kind of easily after, you know, so many uses. Okay, definitely use the magic here. I can make that same mistake again. Yeah, there's not too many games even following this era, even in the 32-bit era, that used keyboards explicitly. Typing of the Dead's one, that was a fun game. Typing of the Dead on Dreamcast, cool game, honestly. Yeah, it's kind of synonymous with some of those typing games back in the day that were used for educational purposes, like Math Blasters and, you know, games like Number Munchers. Goten's got some Number Munchers emotes. Those are really cool. Yeah, I like those. That is like such a huge throwback, dude. Because those are kind of fun, honestly. Like sometimes those were it's like the only games that you would find in, you know, in some of your schools. Because they were educational games, but they were like, but they were well made. They weren't, you know, they weren't boring. You could actually have a total blast with them. I mean, Math Blasters is in the name. Go ahead and use a special here. Friend of mine played a lot of time. He did. Yeah, dude, it's hilarious. You know, it's kind of a novelty thing, it's true, but I just thought it was a really fun take, and like I said, it's not really, it was just a good example of a game where it's like, yeah, you explicitly use a controller, or sorry, a keyboard controller. Yeah, I'm not sure if the Genesis had a keyboard. That's something I would have to do some research on. I don't think so. I haven't seen one anyways. It's possible that one existed in a different region though. But as far as the NTSC region goes, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Is it a good way to improve your typing? I think so, yeah. Because I think it gives you really like random words. So like you have to know where a lot of the keys are. It's not just like it gives you, you know, normal words. I don't think so anyways. Might depend on the difficulty setting. Alright, back to level 4 here. Yeah, that's probably, I imagine there's probably a difficulty setting that probably controls that. Probably the lower difficulties are probably easier words. I would hope so anyways. I would hope that it would have that feature. But I'm not honestly 100% sure. It's been a while since I played that. Okay, we want to try to get this guy to show up here. In a perfect world before that guy shoots us there, we might need to move to the left there a little bit sooner. Let's get this guy taken out. There you go. Ooh, this guy respawned there. It's okay. Tie these guys up here. Dog here. Okay, this part is very... Oh, man, yeah. Sometimes, yeah, I was even kicking right there, but just like the way the angle... Like, we kind of jumped a little bit over that guy, and that guy was sort of jumping under us. I think that's why he got us there. So perhaps the angle or position of our jump was just a little bit incorrect there. See, that's much better. Be able to bring that guy out there without getting that first pistol guy there to shoot at us. There you go. Yeah, see, I think we were too far forward. Okay, I'm pretty sure that was the problem. Let's get this extra life here. And you have to get that extra life by... Oh, gosh. That was my bad. Again, out of position. We need to be a little bit further along on the platform. A little bit further to the right, if you will. We're basically like right in the middle of the platform, where we need to be a little bit more to the right. So that we could jump over that rolling dude. It's all good, as long as we see, you know, where we need to... Like, where we went wrong, what we need to correct. Be able to actually cheese some of this here. Yeah, there you go. Fight a few less enemies here. Ooh, look out. Ooh, that was close. Yeah, there you go. Nice. Okay, we gotta jump over this guy too. Oh no. Yeah, he threw us off there by running into us. Even just that little bit right there is enough to punish us there. Because essentially we want to jump directly over him, and then we can make it into the exit there. This guy here. There you go. Nice. Oh man, yeah, somehow. Okay, so I must have jumped too soon there. Okay, I see. I believe I see what I did wrong there. Okay. I think we jumped definitely too soon there. That's why that guy was able to get us there. Let's tie these guys up with the dog here. This guy here. Try to kick these guys. Okay. Jump over this guy. Yeah, so slash that guy. Okay, okay. There you go. I see. So yeah, slash the blue guy. Jump over the other guy. Yeah, and your speed. Yeah, that too. Should I use improvement? Hey, yeah. I mean, if you can find like a Dreamcast emulator or something, or and this sounds like, I don't know, something out of a Castlevania track or something. Grab that guy there. Ooh, that guy got us there. Okay. Usually that guy doesn't get us there. It's alright. This part's tough. This guy's just gonna be guarding. There you go. I use the magic here. Seems like the best place for it. So we have an extra life right there. Oop, where'd the guy in red go? There he is. Crud. Moved a little bit too far forward there. Here we got the guy with the discus to throw his shield at us there. Drop down right there. There you go. Let's get this guy there. Get those guys there. Alright, cool. Do the magic once again there. Let's try to get these guys. Where's the... There he is. Must have disappeared totally into the shadows right there. Ooh, glad that I saw that coming there. Let's save that person there. Okay, this guy's gonna spawn in here. Oh, crud. Messed up there. I probably should have moved a little bit further to the left right there. I would have been able to avoid that. Immediate cameo's gone. How you doing? Yeah, welcome in there. How's your night going so far? Another awesome retro streaming there to go check out, folks. Yeah, also streams from a lot of original hardware. And as her name says, she streams a lot of mini games. Yeah, she also does some other stuff too. You see some like real hardware pinball over there as well. She's got a couple of pinball tables that she streams from also. Yeah, good stuff over there, folks. Make sure you go check her out. One of those rolly guys right there. Yeah, I hope you're doing good over there, Cammy. Oh gosh, that guy got us there. Yeah, it's Monday over there where you are, yeah, so hope the start of the week's going good over there. And it's still Sunday over here, technically, hilariously. Time's a weird construct. So a few hours of Sunday over here. Not a lot, but a few. Let's trap that guy there. Use a special here. There's some under here so far, but it's warm release nice. Yeah, it's actually been pretty nice here too. Past couple days. Today was actually a little bit overcast. It was a little bit foggy. Yeah, a couple days before that though. Ooh, okay, gosh, I thought we got that guy. Guess not. Yeah, this scene is giving us some trouble here. It's okay though. This part is definitely tough. That's where the dog comes into play big time because you might not even see some of the enemies. The dog's gonna let you know they're there. Let's take that guy. Those guys and those guys. Same thing, we'll use the magic right here. It's nice too that the magic takes out all the enemy projectiles as well. So it can be used defensively. Okay, got lucky there. Could have been bad. So you got these blue guys here. Guys knocked me off my stride a little bit there. That's okay. Whoa, almost forgot about that guy. Alright, excellent. On level 4 boss here. Can still see the final level here. Oh man, okay. So I'm just gonna stop here. Okay, we'll save our magic just for defensive purposes. In case we find ourselves in a bad spot here. Yeah, that was probably a good place to use it there. Might have been able to jump over that, but ooh, that was close. Nice, we got him. Yeah, he's not too bad, honestly. It's one of the easier bosses. Alright, on to the final level again. I think we have 5 lives? Extra lives? 6 lives? We can get a few more right here, though. If we do this right, we can get 3 more. Really use those 3 extra lives too. Nice. Yeah, that should be all 50, so should be 3 extra lives right there. Awesome. So this guy here, okay. Let's wait for it. There you go. Let's wait. Drop down there. There you go. Nice. Nice. Okay, cool. Now it's working in our favor there. Larry B, what's going on? How you doing? Welcome in. How's your treating you so far? $32C was your first console, which got you to align your computers. Shadow of the Beast, yeah, I've actually asked Amiga Cammy about that one, because that's where Shadow of the Beast came from. Because it was originally on Amiga. Ooh, they got us there. But yeah, when they ported it over to the... So when they ported it over to the Mega Drive, I don't think that they had the... Ooh, they got us there. Interesting. Usually this is the easy room. Usually we don't take a death here. Let alone two. Yeah, I'm not sure that they had in mind that the like speeds are different, you know, for the different regions. So that's why, you know, when play the NTSC Genesis Shadow of the Beast, it seems like the game is abnormally too fast because yeah, it's not supposed to be going that fast. Yeah, what an interesting game, dude. Chevy's pretty big hit when it came out on Amiga. Very visually impressive. That is true. It still was actually kind of visually impressive. Okay, we waited a little too long there. It's all good, though. Yeah, I still thought that the game was actually pretty sweet looking. A lot of the enemy sprites were really cool, dude. And some of the boss sprites too were pretty awesome. Nice, got the one up there. Excellent. Should be one more here. There they are. Alright, room 4. See what we can do. I'm gonna try to keep all these guys alive if we can. Ah, crud. Okay. Messed up there, but it's all good. Because essentially, if we keep all the opening ones intact, then the later ones don't spawn, so we can just get through the level. Soundtrack is really fast from what I know. Yeah, it was an odd one to port to another system. It improved on some of them, like the Atari Lynx. Interesting, huh? Okay, that's pretty cool. I wonder if that's the one that has like continues and stuff. Because I've heard about one that's had extra lives and continues and whatnot. Yeah, check this out. See, the enemies like in front aren't spawning here because there's too many enemies on the screen. So you essentially do that here too if you do it right. Should be a 2 up here. Ah, we didn't get it. Oh, there was a 2 up right there. Not a 1 up, but a 2 up. Got to the final boss again, though. Nice. I think this first guy is gonna roll out here. Second guy not, though. I think these guys as well. Can't remember if the... Yeah, I think I chose right. I think it's the right one that's going to try to jump at you. Nice. Didn't even have to use the magic on that part. Okay, I think both these guys we need to attack. So I don't think either of them are going to roll. Whoa, both those guys are going to jump, huh? Whoa, both those guys are going to roll. Nice. Alright, what's this guy gonna do? Okay, we gotta attack him. Nice. Alright. We can get through one more cycle here. Alright, that guy's just gonna roll. Okay. Okay, probably use the magic there. Oh, here we go. Nice, we got it. Yes. Awesome. Despite not getting that 2 up. Alright, we got it. Excellent. Thanks for the GG there, Kai the Nat, Christmas Tree, Amelia Cami, Rugo Bernstein, Larry B, Trey, thank you as well. Nice, excellent. Yeah, that one is not too bad, you know, because of all the extra lives you can get. Like, even when you mess up, Duke Toro, thanks for the GG there as well. Yeah, because of all those extra lives you can get, it's definitely feasible. Yeah, awesome ending that we get right here. Yeah, again, it's a little bit different depending on which mode you play on. Yep, beat the game hard mode, no continues, non-shuriken mode. Let's do Arcade Shadow Dancer staff and Arcade Shinobi staff. Interesting. So maybe they had something to do with it then. Thank you for the GG there. Special thanks to all players. That was nice of them. I can't remember if it's one of those things where it's going to... Oh yeah, there you go. At the end. Yeah, okay, it's one of those, well, at least you can press start. Some games, they make you, like, press reset or whatever. Alright, cool. Okay, well. So as we have some time, we can give last battle a run. Do have last battle right here, just in case we took this down. So as we give this a run here, man, that was awesome. Excellent game here. Yeah, this game is super cool. Yeah, it's like I said, definitely a little bit different than the other Shinobi games, but yeah, now we've beaten all 3 of the Shinobi games, and the highest difficulty no continues, and non-shuriken, or the other one's no starting shuriken. Anyways, yeah, I gotta give the dog a treat. The original Shadow Dancer? No, I don't. You mean like on the arcade? No, I've never played that. I'm curious how different it is compared to this one. But I do want to, like I said, at some point probably later this year maybe,